Welcome in the instant overreaction, and that's exactly what it'll be. Hold on. If you are tuning in, I have breaking news. South Carolina just missed another tackle and also was flagged for another penalty. A night to forget. In Columbia. There were some positives, but a lot of negatives. We'll get into it in the instant live overreaction. Locked On Gamecocks starts right now.
You are Locked On Gamecocks, your daily podcast on the South Carolina Gamecocks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Locked On Gamecocks. I'm your host, Chris Marler. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Beamer's not done. We're live after the game. Frustrated, to say the least. It's a live instant overreaction, so let me set the expectations now. And unlike what I did in the offseason, I'm going to set them properly. The expectations that you should have for watching the show. This is meant to be an overreaction. We are reacting to the game that just ended. The fan is going to come out of us a little bit. The anger and frustration is going to come out of us a little bit. And then we'll rewind tomorrow on Sunday, and we'll have a little bit more tempered, measured, logical reaction to what happened. The comments are open. Make sure you are commenting. Please like, share, whatever. I don't care. I appreciate you guys all being here, and thank you for making Locked On Gamecocks your first listen every day. Blah, blah, blah. That was pathetic in so many ways. And they only lost by 9. But that was pathetic in so many ways. I am so frustrated with tuning in and watching the same crap that is coaching and simple things that should be fixed. These are all things that good teams don't do. We said this over and over in the offseason. You know, this part was true. LaNorris Sellers may very well still be the best offensive player in the country. He hasn't played like it, but like you watch him play and you see him compared to other people, and I still say deserved a lot of the preseason hype over guys like DJ Lagway, over guys like Arch Manning, especially with what he has around him. You may have the best offensive player in the country. You may have the best defensive player in the country. I don't know. Either way, you do so many piss poor things that get you beat. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how below average this team with that roster, which keep in mind is the best roster you have had since in 15 years. And if you want to say, well, that's only because of star rankings, fine. But what staff has done a better job of developing 3 stars than this one? There's so many issues. That are so stupid. You had 14 penalties for 100 yards. 14 for 100. I said, LaNorris, you got to put on the cape. If you follow me on Twitter, I said you got to out on the cape because I had a typo and I'm an idiot. I don't think it's going to be a surprise to anybody here. He did put on the cape at times in the first half. But did anyone else? I was texting a buddy of mine about this during the game, David Carter, and I said, listen, realistically, you're at 14-12. What do you feel like the actual confidence is going to win this game? Because if I'm being honest, I said 30%. There was no part of me that felt like they were going to hold on to win this game. They should have been up by more, right? If you watch the crossover episode, which very few people did, because I posted it way too late with Mizzou, I said the final scores would be 28-20. Thought it'd be very close that they would pull away. It could have been closer. It also could have been much worse. If Luke Doty's in, not in a rude way to Luke Doty, actually, it's probably unfair to say, but 3rd and 37, you should never be in a 3rd and 37. You should never have 1st and goal from the 1-yard line and then find yourself in 2nd and goal from the 25. That's not it's not just what good teams don't do. It's what bad teams do. And this shouldn't be a bad team. I'm seeing the comments right now. I'm going to say it. And again, instant overreaction show. And I know I'm yelling. Pepper's terrified. She ran out of the room. Pepper, get over here. Lonnie Teasley has to go. Lonnie Teasley has to go. Even if it's something where you're like, well, you know what? You got to save face if you're Beamer. This is coaching. Yes, Pepper. She's terrified. The penalties, It's not the most disappointing team I think I've ever seen, Drew Aker. I appreciate you being here for one. I'm not. Pepper, what do you think? Get in here, bud. Get in here. You should never be in 3rd and 37. You should never be in 2nd and goal from 25. And here's the thing, guys. They get in those situations after their 1st and goal from the 1. After they're like, they had a big gain. Remember last week it's Vandy when you had the big first down? And then next thing you know, you're in like 3rd and 23. Like I saw a tweet from our buddies at I think it was like the Carolina Faithful. They do a great job. They're really funny. And they said, like, there's no more feet left to shoot. They'll find one. This is the best point. I forgot I can put these up here. This is the best point. We have Sean Elliott on staff, and Lonnie Teasley, I know I spelled the name wrong, but still has a job. Agreed. Sean Elliott made his hay in this industry in a running game, figuring out how to run the football, punish defenses. Lonnie Teasley, maybe he's a great recruiter. Keep him on staff to recruit. You brought in all these like blue chip guys. What's going on? And don't tell me it's injuries, because it was just as bad, if not worse, without injuries. How is Josiah Thompson not developed any further than he was a year ago? You should. Somebody says, I'm so mad I could fight a chainsaw. The penalties are a joke. Only Lonnie. I don't think the entire coaching staff deserves to go. And again, file on in, post everything in the comments. We'll talk about all of it. I'm pissed, man. I'm like, I know somebody commented on this last week. It was like, hey, it'd be a lot easier if you could like go in order. But that would require me to have like a rational train of thought. And this is all the ADD and the instant reaction. So we're not going to do that. I sort of agree. This is probably the most disappointing season in a long time, with all the hype coming in and not going to come close to being a playoff team. I hate to say this because it's like, I don't disagree. Like Missouri is a good football team. They're a good football team, but they're not good enough to beat you by running the ball for nearly 300 yards, 285, and then holding you to -9. How embarrassing is that? How is there no improvement in that? And here's the thing too, guys. I watched that game just like you did. Everyone's frustrated at Teasley. Everyone's frustrated at the O-line play, as you should be. The missed tackles, think about how bad the offensive line play has to be to not even talk about the missed tackles 8 minutes into the show. How's that possible? If we didn't have double-digit penalties before going down by 6 in the fourth quarter, we probably could have easily won. Zach, you're not wrong, but they did. Like, this is now the 5th game with Mike Shula as the OC. And I thought he called a good game. I really did. I thought he opened the playbook. I thought the passing game was a lot better. I thought at times Nick Harbor looked lost tonight. It's very clear that he's kind of the go-to guy in certain situations. And I don't know if he's there yet to be that person. I want him to be, and I want him to develop into that and all that kind of stuff. But also, like, I watched the offense, and the play calling in the passing game was much more creative, much more effective. Threw the ball downfield. Like that part was great. I didn't feel like they tried to force the run too much. I honestly thought they ran the ball better in the second half than the first half, which is terrible because of how bad it was, and you ended up with -9 yards rushing on 22 attempts. One of my buddies on Twitter, he posted something about this when I was like, look at the rushing like difference at the half. Because at the half you were averaging, I think it was like 0.1 yards. They had 1 yard rushing, and they were averaging 0.1 yards per carry. And he's like, but if you take out the sacks, it rockets up to 1.4. That's still obviously bad. I know he's making a joke, but like, why are we acting like Sean Elliott hasn't had any input? Because he's a tight ends coach, and no one's told us that he's had input. The tackling though, the tackling is. I don't want to single out this one person, but Gerald Kilgore, number 23. There was a play where I forgot who it was because I don't think it was Ahmad Hardy. I said going into the season on all the stuff I have to write for it and everything outside of like the of South Carolina where I cover the SEC, I thought Ahmad Hardy was going to be the best running back in the SEC in terms of like he was going to lead the SEC in rushing. Anybody that's listened to me talk about this, Mizzou has had a top 4 rusher in the conference, including 2 guys that finished number 1 overall in rushing yards in the season in like the last like 5 years since Drink's been there. That's their MO. And that's fine. I'm not surprised that Ahmad Hardy was great. I'm not. What I am surprised about is in routine drawn up plays where you're seeing consistently you're not making contact with a running back until 4 to 7 yards down the field before he's touched. And then defensive backs not wanting to bring their arms to tackle. If you don't want it, I can tell you this for a fact. That's the deepest unit on the defense, at least. Maybe not on the team, like I thought it was preseason, but on the defense, 1,000%, that's the deepest unit. If you don't want to be out there, don't be out there. If you cannot muster up the courage to use your arms to tackle, don't go out on the field. Like, that was pathetic. I mean, that was pathetic. And it's not just the defensive backs. It's also the defensive line. Like, I mean, I thought the linebackers played okay. But my God, guys, how many times are we going to sit here and watch the same crap? The moment you get momentum, you shoot yourself in the foot. That is Spartan Cairo, probably. I don't know. Listen, we are poorly coached. Yes. I mean, that's what it was. That's what it was. I don't know. Virginia Tech doesn't want Shane. I mean, yeah. I think all these are really good points. LaNorris missing a third down throw was killer. And listen, here's the thing, too. This is a really good point by Tyler Knoll. LaNorris missing a third down throw was killer, but he's the only reason they had a chance to win. 14 penalties, negative 9 yards rushing while they lost. Completely agree. That just adds to the frustration because it's like we joke around. It's like, man, you got to put the cape on. And sometimes your quarterback has to go win you a ball game. Man, he did everything he could. 14 of 19 for 284 at one point. What did he end up at? Let me look at this. He had over 300 yards passing. He had over 300 yards passing, and they had less than 300 yards of offense, which is, I mean, like, here's the other part too, guys. That's the case when you went out and got a guy like Faison, when you had Oscar Attaway, you got 2 7th-year vets in your backfield. You got Howell. You got some guys that can run the football. But the offensive line is so bad that you're allowing that to happen. Mike Shulabai, Sellers can't run. Something has to be up, man. Nick Taylor with a good point as well. Something has to be up. I mean, even the design runs, he's quickly going out of bounds. He's quickly going out of bounds. He's not trying to deliver blows. Maybe that's what they wanted him to do. I don't know. But it's inexcusable in terms of play calling, at least, because that's a huge weapon for you, considering the fact that you don't have a single person. Oh boy. Yeah, hold on. This is my other job. Oh man. And now I got a text from Mike Bratton that says Shane Beamer just ran after Dylan Stewart, who was already walking into the tunnel to the locker room. Beamer tapped him on the back and told him to join the team for the alma mater. That's a problem, guys. That's a problem. And listen, I love Dylan Stewart. I've loved the fact that they went out and got that kid, and that kid could have had offers from everywhere in the country. And I love that he picked South Carolina out of high school and then also chose them again in the offseason. And they did a great job of going out to get him and making sure that he stayed home. He's been a problem so far. He's not the only one, and he's not the most glaring one. He is by no means your biggest issue remotely. But the lack of composure from him through 4 games in his second year is an issue. It's an issue. I'm not giving Hardy enough credit. No, Hardy's a great running back. There were multiple plays where he had multiple missed tackles on the same play. He cannot break it. He cannot have a run where he breaks 5 tackles. And they showed it on the replay, 5 tackles in one run. That can't happen. Mike Shula doesn't jump off sides or hold. Also true. I don't know about Sellers not being all that. I tell you what the concern is. I tell you what the concern is I have on this, and this is I hear what you're saying, Nark. I'm not calling you that. That's just your name on YouTube. The concern is not that he's – I think you're firmly in a spot right now after 4 games, if we're being objective and honest, that I don't know if he's played his way into the same top 5, top 10 talk. Not saying he shouldn't be there or that he won't be there, because I think he's good enough still to be there. I thought he was great tonight at times. At times. Some of the decision-making is still shocking to me in the moments that it cannot happen. But you're now in a situation where I don't think he would ever go anywhere else to another school in college. I don't know what the selling point is for him to come back to play behind this offensive line right now. I'm pretty sure Shane Beamer hasn't fired or made a single fire since becoming a coach, but he's not going to make a change. You're probably right. He should, because Lonnie Teasley's been really bad. The offensive line's been really bad, right? Like, I love the loyalty. I love the fact that he's trying to keep his guy. I love the continuity. I think it's important. Retention on your staff and roster is really big nowadays. You cannot put out this offensive line for the 3rd year in a row, especially when it's gotten better in terms of talent each year. It's awful. So if we would have run the ball at all, we would have had tonight in the 15 or so carries we did. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I think Tyler says the defense looks like 2023 all over again. It's very frustrating because it's not even like a blown assignment. Those are happening too, but it's not like they're not getting to the quarterback enough. That's happening too. What's happening is you're missing basic tackles. I mean, the touchdown run they had to I forgot which one it was. I think it was to go up 17-15, or I don't remember what the exact score was. But it's the one where they were, if you're watching on TV, they were going right to left. They made contact with him like 1 to 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage as he's going off left end. He breaks the tackle, and I don't know if he was touched after that. And then going towards like the 4-yard line, Kilgore tries to lower his shoulder to get him out of bounds. Brother, if you were bench pressing, would you just try to nudge up the bar with your shoulder? No. Like, this is effort type of crap. I don't know how we're going to do the show without cussing, by the way. It's just like, Sean Elliott is the run game coordinator. This falls on him too. Yeah, maybe so. I agree with this too, Hannah. Tackling is terrible. A lot of bad language there. Can't say that. But fans calling for Beamer's job or Delulu, I agree with that. The O-line looks lost out there. I'm not sure how to fix it. I don't know. Why are you pissed? You didn't expect the Gamecocks to win? Because they could have won. And I don't like losing. What? First off, Big Chicken 61. If I would have walked in here and been like, fantastic game. Final score 29-20. I was pretty much spot on. I said it was going to be 28-20. It was going to be really close for 3 quarters and they were going to pull away, which I did say all that. But if I would have walked in here and been like, oh, man, who cares? What are we talking about? I'm not sure they'll make a bowl game. I think they'll make a bowl game. I'm not worried about that. But maybe we should be. I don't know. Why are we not letting Sellers scramble run, stay in the pocket? We want to win, forget the scouting. Man, I don't even disagree. I think what it looks like to me watching it is that it's like they really tried to enforce or reinforce to him all offseason, hey, like when plays break down, you don't have to run. We want you to get better at staying in the pocket, making good decisions. I don't see the decision-making significantly better. I don't. Like through 4 games, it's gotten better, not significantly better. I mean, I don't know. There were some positives too. I said this on one of the shows earlier this week. I said, what I really wanted to see out of all this was I wanted to see a situation where I did not expect them to win, But did Pepper ever come back? Pepper, get over here. She for a second, I don't know where she is. She is terrified. She is that when LaNorris took the sack on 1st and goal from the 1, if she would have ran away from home, I would not have been. I would have understood. I don't even disagree with this necessarily. Oh, no, actually, no, I do disagree with the NIL part. No, I thought the play calling was better. Listen, the bar is set pretty low, Andy Cofield. The bar has been set pretty low. I thought the play calling was better. Listen, you ran. Do you know how many total plays of offense you ran in tonight's game? You ran 50. 50. 10 of those were run plays to Sellers, which were primarily sacks. And I said this before the game. I said this is a really good football team. You got to figure out a way to make them one-dimensional. And I thought the answer to that was take away the run to make them pass. You did make them one-dimensional by their own accord, though. They just ran the ball down your throat. I think this is a good point, too. Why wasn't Oscar Attaway given more carries? He was the only one to get positive yards. Yeah, I think it's a good point. This is not a bad, terrible take so far. Then don't sit here and watch the show, Chris James. Like, if you're upset about it, that's fine. I watched the game just like you did. Feel free to throw in your takes as well. I don't know what would you like me to say to sugarcoat what just happened? That I think Teasley should go because regardless of what just happened in this game, he's been terrible. He's been terrible since he took over. You've had 41 sacks in each of the past 2 years. You want me to put more blame on Sean Elliott? Fine. I promote Sean Elliott, the former college football head coach that beat Tennessee as a head coach. I promote him to offensive line coach over Teasley. Is that what you want to hear? I'm fine with saying it. Teasley's not a good coach right now. This is the one unit. If you want to get into it, we'll get into it. This is the one unit that has not shown any ability to develop or get better. It's the only one. In all of Beamer's 4 and the 3rd years, it's the only one that has shown zero ability to be better at any point. At any point. You gave up the same amount of sacks last year with LaNorris as you did the year before with Spencer Rattler. You're well on your way again. You just got held to -9 yards rushing. If you want me to pin more blame on someone else, fine. I wish Sean Elliott would have been more vocal in meetings and said whatever needed to happen for Lonnie Teasley to figure it out. But Lonnie Teasley is the offensive line coach. That's why he deserves the credit. That's why he deserves the credit. And in this situation, the credit is pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Disagree on the play calling. Sellers is not a pocket QB. The scheme is unnecessarily complicated because Mike thinks it's innovative. Sure. I mean, that's fine. I thought he looked pretty good at times in the passing game. I thought he looked pretty good throwing the football downfield. And regardless, it looked much more creative than what we saw in the first 3 weeks. Again, the bar was set pretty low. Yes, this Will Hall, great point. Great point. He is going to say that's a good football team, and they are. But at the same time, like you were in that game in multiple positions where you could have won. And even if you were going to lose, because again, that's a good football team. Like Missouri's schedule sets up. Some of you aren't going to like hearing this, but their schedule does set up. I mean, guys, they get their first 6 games at home. I've never even heard of that. They have Oklahoma on the road. That's a tough game. But they close the season with Arkansas. They don't play. I think they get Bama at home. That's a winnable game. They don't play Texas. They don't play Georgia. They get A&M at home. They don't play LSU. They don't play Ole Miss. They don't play Tennessee. This is a team that can – I don't think they play Tennessee. This is a team that can go to the playoff. They are a good football team, which makes it even more frustrating and infuriating that you were in a position to win the game. And what you did instead was lose because you continued to get in your own way. Let's not even talk about the fact that Caden Green, their best offensive lineman, was out. And they still ran for almost 300 yards. They still did that. Yes, also a good point. I mean, yeah, never had an answer. I think that's a really good point. Our offensive line has been horrid Beamer's whole tenure. We need changes. Again, and here's the main thing too. Here's the main thing too. This team is still a good team. Like they are a good team. I think they are capable of making it to the postseason. The frustration is if you want to sit here and say, well, Teasley's not the guy you need to point the finger at. I don't care, because at this point, like we talk about this all offseason. If you want to talk about turning a corner as a program, part of that's winning on the field. Part of that is going into Timu Death Valley and beating Clemson on the field. Part of that is going 6-0 in your final 6 games. Part of that's running A&M out of the building. Part of that's having like making a very intentional change offensively in your scheme and what you wanted to do as your identity to win games. And you won 6 straight to close the season, right? Like you turned a corner there. You turned a corner in recruiting. Part of the whole process of turning the corner as a program is making decisions at the top all the way down that make you better. And if that means firing an offensive line coach who deserves to not have a job right now, then do it. Like, let me put it this way. If the defensive backs had given up 300 or 400 yards a game, because 41 sacks, guys, 41 sacks for 2 years in a row. It's almost the worst. The only reason it wasn't the worst in the SEC is because Oklahoma somehow gave up 50. 41 sacks 2 years in a row. If the secondary gave up 400 yards a game passing, like 2020 LSU did, we'd probably want the secondary coach gone, right? We probably wouldn't look at that and say, well, he's been there for 3 years. He's gotten some good recruits. Got a couple 4-stars coming in. Got a 5-star coming in next year. It's stupid. We need more NIL money. Justice Haynes is a beast. We had him until Michigan paid him and had Sellers and Dillon. Yeah. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I was from multiple camps. I thought Justice Haynes was a lock to come here. Now, to be fair, the competition financially with Michigan is you're dealing with a program that has billionaires, which is very, very tough. I'm not going to get into Beamer being the answer. Fundamentals are lacking. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that's a good point too. He wasn't the one playing, but he's a trash play caller. Again, guys, this deserves the criticism. You're right. Like Shula has been bad offensively because he was bad against Vandy. He was bad against South Carolina State. He was bad against Virginia Tech. If you want to go back to the bowl game, didn't seem super fun in that game. We just kind of had ridden such a high to the end of the season that we looked at that game and was like, all right, well, who cares? You got a couple of changes, a couple guys that didn't play. It's fine. I did not think that was going to be a sign of things to come or that it would regress, and it has. So I think that's fair. This is a really good point, George Case. We're getting the simple things wrong over and over. And here's the best point anyone's made, including myself. Be creepy. Fantastic, fantastic name. Things have to happen before anything can change. And I think that's spot on. Let's close out the show here because I'm heated. I agree with this too, DB. I was wrong about this. He should not have been RB1. That's Attaway, man. All day, every day. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's a lot of issues here. We're gonna come back and look at this tomorrow. I will painfully rewatch it, and we'll have a conversation tomorrow, probably early afternoon. And let's face it, we're not going to watch the Panthers or whoever the NFL teams are that you guys love, because I know even as a Falcons fan, they're terrible. Pretty much everyone in the NFC South is. Anyway, we'll come back. We'll talk about it then. If you have questions, thoughts, whatever you want me to talk about on the actual show tomorrow as well, DM me, Vern_Funquist on Twitter. Put them in the comments here. Again, it's an instant overreaction. We're frustrated. Everyone's frustrated. You have, yes, dude, this too, man. This too. Yeah, this is also a good point. These are all great questions. She needs to quit going deep. I mean, but also, that seemed to be the best part of the offense tonight. Oh, my God, dude. You know what, George? We'll extend the show for another minute because of this. What was that about? There was, this is not why South Carolina lost. Let's be very clear about that. I don't want to sit here and have people say that we're complaining about the officials. But, my God, I thought it was on Swain. I thought it was targeting by definition of the rule. Like, I know that he tried to turn his head, but by definition of the rule, what we've seen consistently out of different officiating crews, that's kind of held up. The targeting on Faison was crown of the helmet to the helmet, nothing. How about the 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3, I think it was in the fourth quarter, where they were driving 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, and they come up right at the line, never even looked to review it, not once. Just first down, go. There were some things that happened in this game. Listen, again, Carolina beat themselves enough on top of being beat to lose this game. But there was some stuff with the officials that I was like, what is going on? What is happening that any of this is being reviewed? I'll tell you the best example I thought I was going to lose my mind was on the deep pass to Jacobs in the first half to set him up the 1 yard line, where they threw the flag, or they were talking about throwing the flag, and then I think they did throw a flag, and they said it was on the defense, but they were reviewing whether or not they were set up correctly, and it was that was the one time all night you looked at every single person on line, and they were looking around we good, everyone's good, snap the ball. How many other pre-snap penalties did they have? Oh, my God. Oh, I agree. Thank you, James. I appreciate that. All right, guys. I appreciate all you guys. You guys have been great, and for real, you guys have been. I want to do this every week. Hopefully, next week we'll have a better outcome. But until next time, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Saturday night. Please be safe. Be safe. And I'm gonna go get some stuff done for the other job. Gonna get 6 hours of sleep, hang out with Pepper, take her for a walk if she'll forgive me for being so upset. Get up tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon. We probably won't be live, but unless you guys want to go live, you let me know. And we'll do a more measured, tapered, logical, reasonable reaction as well, because there were some positives. Thank you, Gamecock Orbit. There were some positives, but we'll get into that later. Anyway, I appreciate you, Peyton Smith. I'm pissed. All right, I appreciate it. We're gonna end on that before I lose my voice. Love y'all. Go Cox. See you tomorrow.